It's a big day for us. It's a massive day, and I'm glad that everybody feels that they can take the time to spend some time kind of understanding the process that we've been through over the last 2 years. So, the first bit, really it's a bit of a history lesson, but I think it's important to start so that you appreciate how these events have kind of evolved over time, but also how they really fit together. And sometimes it kind of feels as if they were thrown together by accident, but it was more certainly by design. They started in the midst of time in 1973 at IFSEC, which was in London. So it's funny that we're returning back to London. But I'm sure some of you will remember that. I've been involved for 16 years, but certainly can't remember that far back. 74, we added the fire component. So again, there was obvious synergies between security and fire, and it made sense for the two things to be interrelated. Then, over time, safety and health and facilities to what we've got now, which is the combined events at the NEC in Birmingham. And it makes sense because they all fit together, and exhibitions and time now is limited, so therefore people come to those events and maximise their time so they can see what they need to see across a number of shows. And that's been the rationale, and that's been the gel that's kept those events together. As I said, I've been with the business, and a lot of my team have been with the business for many years, but collectively, we've been in this business now for 40 years. This is an incredibly important part of what we do, but I also hope that we have got some experience and skill in running these events, and therefore, we don't take any decision lightly in terms of what we do with the future with them. So why London? Well, it started, as I said, about 2 years ago when we had a conversation with a number of suppliers, visitors, and also our stakeholders, our institutes and associations that support the shows, who were saying, London, you really should be looking at London now. London is becoming a really important location for us in terms of business. And therefore, we felt duty-bound to have a look at what that opportunity entailed. And I think it's important because the easiest thing we can do in business, I think, and with these shows, is to keep it in Birmingham, to stay what we're doing, because it certainly isn't broken. You know, we are, in my view, we're doing some good stuff. It's at the top of its game. In my view, the time to make change and innovation is when you're in that position. Because if you stand still, the likelihood is that you'll stand still. And I think what we need to be doing with these events is pushing them to the next level. And I think a move to London certainly gives us the opportunity to do that. You only have to look at some businesses along the high street, and it's, you know, business is littered with examples of people that haven't moved and haven't changed. Recent examples with HMV and Blockbusters, etc. The easiest thing for us to do would be to keep it in Birmingham. Birmingham's been a great home for us, believe me, and I think we've seen great growth there. But what you were saying is that we need to think about alternatives. So we did, and we looked at London. It's pretty obvious to most of us that it's the commercial sector, the centre of commerce within the UK. It's the nation's national city. It's very attractive to overseas visitors. You can see some of the stats here. One of the top financial centres. Lots of HQs. People, senior level people based here. The stats go on. This is also a big opportunity, I think, in that London, especially with what's gone on with the Olympics, there is a halo effect around that. And therefore, internationally, I don't think there's any time that London has been more attractive to international visitors. Is there a way that we can leverage that? But that's okay, that's theory. So far we've had anecdotal evidence from you. We've also, we've looked at London as a venue. We've also tried events here. So we've had first-hand experience about how well London has worked. EcoBuild, as I mentioned earlier on, is an example of that. But also we had within this sector, and Rob Strange is here today, please speak to him about this. We had the IOSH conference, which moved from venue to venue around the country. When we ran it in London, we had the largest attendance we have ever had. Record-breaking attendance at that show. Again, it's all very well to do that. What we then did was to do it's the largest research project that I've been involved in. And what we did was take all of our visitors from the last 3 years and ask them where they would go. We did it across sector, so therefore we did security, fire, safety and facilities. And we also engaged heavily, again, with our key stakeholders, so the institutes and associations that have supported these events for many, many years. The results were pretty resounding. And what they said, and it's difficult to generalize because, clearly there are results across each sector. However, the resounding answers that we got from this were that if you were in the North and Scotland and the Midlands, you would come to the event pretty much wherever, so it was pretty neutral. However, in London and the South East, where the majority of business are based, people said they were more likely to come. So therefore, the overall effect of that is a net increase. I think it also then gives us the opportunity to do lots of different things. So we have problems getting people from Scotland and the North, surprisingly, to Birmingham. However, the idea of putting on chartered planes and trains to come to London makes that a far more viable opportunity for us, so something that we will be looking at doing. But this is what, for me, is the most important part of this narrative, which is, okay, it would be okay in Birmingham, we would continue doing a good show. The really good thing about this is the additional opportunities that I feel and the team feel, and the research tells us, would be the extra London impact. What we feel, again, from our existing data, so this is before we even look at new data sets and new investment, that we can enhance our IT and end user audience by at least 500. Again, these guys are based predominantly in London and the South East. By combining the safety events, so we now have all of the safety events under one umbrella, we will get an additional 1,300 visitors. Likewise, in terms of facilities management, this is where these guys are based, so we feel that 930 is a fair number in terms of additional audience there. Likewise, SMEs, 969. All in all, again, I think conservatively, we are looking at a potential uplift of 11% on our audience that we're already getting. We also then, as I touched with regard to EcoBuild, need to look at how we ensure that we are engaged as industries with the overall conversation with government, with local government and national government. London gives us an opportunity to do that in terms of content, in terms of interaction with ministers and policymakers. Therefore, UKTI, the London and Partners and the Mayor of London are far more likely and have already said that they're more likely to get behind this event if it's in London. Again, that's all well and good saying that if we didn't have a venue to actually run it. You are standing in what I think is one of the best venues in the world. It was launched in 2000 at a cost of 500 million. It's purpose-built, it's modern. It's already proved itself in that it's run 4,000 events and attracted 15 million visitors. As I said earlier on, the Olympic story, I think, is a really great one in that it really did an amazing job. It had 7 Olympic and 6 Paralympic events, more than any other Olympic venue. And this, I think, is really important to us as well as a business and to you in terms of your businesses. It's won awards for sustainability, and I think Jeremy's going to talk a bit about that later on, but it's vital that we have that level of sustainability in any partner that we partner with. What it also does with its size and the floor plan is allow us to redraw the floor plan. What I said at the beginning was that these events fit together, and what we need to do is to facilitate how people move from one to another. And that happens at the NEC, and it happens well, but I think it can happen even better here. The idea, as you'll see when you go outside, is IFSTEC will go on the south side, and then the north halls will be split between fire, facilities, and safety, allowing people to go very easily from one show to another. It is also superbly accessible. Again, I won't labour this point, but in terms of transport links, it is supremely connected. The one thing that a few people have said is, well, yeah, that's all well and good, but isn't it going to cost me more to exhibit? And it's interesting. I think there's a kind of myth and reality here. And the reality is, as again Jeremy will talk about, the number of rooms that are around this area is massive, and they're also within everybody's budget. Jeremy was talking today about, there's a good hotel that is £35 a night to up to the Four Seasons, which is obviously £700 for a suite, and everything in between. So I think that that's really important. The one criticism that I constantly, or my team and I constantly got about the NEC was the Metropole, how expensive that was. We have now got far more choice, and I think that's really important to you. Again, it's easy for me, and you'd expect me to sing the benefits of this. However, what we've had over the last couple of weeks since we've launched it is an overwhelming level of support for this. And this was brought home to me actually today in that we've just signed a long-term agreement with the BSIA. And James Kelly, I'd like to thank James very much for his unwavering support of this. And that support has been pretty much universal across the piece. So we're very, very happy with the level of support and the launch that we've had so far. But I'll let you read some of these yourselves. This one from Tycho from Security. One from Safety. I mean, I can show you all. You get the tone from them. I can show you lots and lots more of these. Hopefully some of you are in the audience today. But it's also been across the different industries as well. One from Facilities. So, as a very brief summary, you told us to have a look at London. We've done that. We've spent 2 years. We've done the most exhaustive research that I've been involved in that told us that there was absolute support for a move. I think the most important thing is the additional opportunity that then offers the events and for you to increase your ROI. I really hope that some of my passions come over it because, as I said, I've been working on this event for a long, long time. It's vital that we get any decision right. I think this is absolutely the right decision for these shows. I really am very, very excited about this opportunity next year. I think we'll have a fantastic show this year, but I think that next year certainly will be even better. So thank you very much indeed for your time. I'll now hand over to Jeremy.